Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching another session where we do channeling from councils of light, whether it's a Council of Nine, Council of Eight, other light beings, where they give us coordinates or they direct us to go to a certain place so we can start to remember or re-remember or reignite our memory of how and who we really are and what our paths are. Things that we have experienced before, beauty, peacefulness, inner power, inner peace, and inner knowledge, inner wisdom that we, most of us have forgotten when we reincarnated into this life. I would like to also invite you that if you hear and you come with us through this journey, and if you hear a coordinate or a way that we go or place that we go to, and you cannot travel yet, you have no idea how to do that, just use yourself and your intention. Just say, well, I am following them. I'm going with them. That's as simple as that. Because you are then requesting help from your team, from your spiritual team, and you are requesting help from also galactic teams and all other beings that are here with us trying to help us. And they will help you because we all have free will. And by asking for help, there you are surrendering and asking for help and saying, yes, I would like to do this. So feel free to join us and feel free to travel with us and gather that wisdom all over again. Let that wisdom reignite within you. So for now, welcome to our members that are here. And Jazz and Leave, and anyone else that's watching this, welcome. You're more than welcome to put things in the chat, but we are not going to be able to answer them or respond to them until later on when I go back, because we are going to be meditating, channeling. We are in the trance. We won't be able to pay attention to that. So don't feel like we're ignoring you. We acknowledge everyone later on. If we're answering, whatever questions you may have or comments, then we appreciate you and we welcome you. Let's close our eyes just to put our bodies and our minds in a very peaceful manner and reach that inner peace. Allow yourself to just be very slowly going deeper and deeper into a meditative state. Take a few deep breaths and quiet that monkey mind. If that mind continues to chatter, just say, you know what, it's time out right now. Go take a nap. And allow your more spiritual side of your mind, your more artistic side of your mind, to wake up and take over. Now welcome and open the floor to all of our members here. And as soon as you get, you're ready, let's start with the first coordinates that were given to us before we start.
2, 4, 9, 5, 8. 2, 4, 9, 5, 8.
Okay, thank you. Now, my experience is that we're in a cave, kind of in the beginning of a very long, deep cave where I can see outward, and it's nighttime. I see a whole bunch of stars and the sky is darker. So I'm assuming it's nighttime because of that. And inside the cave, I see a lot of crystals and an altar in the very middle of this section of the cave. There is 2 light beings next to the altar. And they're very welcoming. They haven't really said a word through their mouth. They're just speaking telepathically, but they're very welcoming. I don't see a per se body. It's more like an energy beings right there. If anybody else is experiencing anything the same or different, please share.
I concur. I also see a soft glow throughout the cave. It's not dark and dank. There's a soft, mellow, warming glow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the beginning of a celebration. There's been a time of strife and war. So there's been intense pain and destruction, and life had been falling apart. But this gathering is a witness to the end of that destruction and a opportunity to reignite the foundation of the society with peace, with cooperation, with open hearts to change the atmosphere so that that tension can never resurface.
Okay. And I see more and more beings gathering. Again, no per se physical bodies, just energy.
It's kind of neat to think about these energy bodies of having gone through something as devastating as war. We tend to think of that as a human anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that process happens throughout the galactic universe.
Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, it was very deadly. It took a lot of beings' existence away. Because even though there's just energy, there's still a way to end that energy.
Mhm.
So
And
it's
there's still a need for the tactile surroundings.
exactly, yes. And for lack of wording, because we really can't, we have very limited vocabulary, but it's kind of a sense of they had a war with energy vampires where they just drained and took the energy away from them, from the light beings. But the light beings are now going to celebrate that the war is done. And even though they're still recovering, they're still healing, they're still beings not up to par as to their usual healthy level of energy, that this is the pivotal point where things change for the better.
There's a bath area,
Mhm.
um, and it's I say bath. It's an opportunity for those energy essences to immerse themselves and allow the water to penetrate those areas that are still in need of healing, so that when they emerge again, um, they are much closer to being whole than they are at the moment.
Mhm. Yes, and I know you're using that word bath loosely. But yes, that's
It, it would be similar to us going to a lake or a pond
right.
and diving in and being immersed into the healing properties of the water. That would be as similar as we can describe.
Right. Right. Um, and the very interesting thing is that you can tell that they're very uh, they're very different in wisdom, level of wisdom, which would be more like our equivalent of different ages. Their level of wisdom from, a younger being to an older, more wiser being. And you can tell their level of energy by that, and you can tell also how much time they have existed, which for them there's no difference, but to put it in human terminology, the difference between a child and an elder person.
There's a variation in their luminescence as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So and basically what I am hearing right now from one of the head that is next to that altar, is that this basically would represent us. That, to take the example, that although we still have healing to do, we are at that point where we can shine brighter and make our lives easier and heal more and let go of that energy that's taking all of our positive energy away. So, in comparison, basically, they're saying, this is the time, this is your opportunity to be at that fork in the road and choose light and choose to grow that light and choose to let go of anything that's anchoring you down and bringing you healing and growth and wisdom. In the spiritual sense, we have been battling for the last few years, light versus dark. And it is time to step up and bring that light all the way up, no matter how much it is, the best that you can do on any given moment, and shine on that darkness so the darkness is not as dark anymore. So we can bring that peace that we so much seek for. We could stop this chaotic energy of negativity that's all around us, and the stress levels that everyone is in. The chaos and all that's happening can subside if we choose to join, unite in the light. And that is their basic message at this moment. For us to celebrate just as they are. I'm sorry.
The unique properties of this water, pond, bath, whatever, is that as those negative energies come out, some might fear that as you're the next entity into the bath, that those other negative energies might cling to you. That can't happen, because as soon as the negative energy melts away from you, it is transmuted immediately. There is no residual for you to be concerned about passing on to somebody else, or somebody be able to reabsorb any of that. It's an instantaneous, as soon as it's out, it's gone. And it's actually transmuted to build the positive energy to be self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm. Yes, all we have to do is choose to be in the positive, in the light. And everything will take care of itself.
And when we make, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
When we make that choice, in our humanness, we will fall, if you will, and it's okay. You just recognize that you can let it go, and in that letting go, you will be renewed and be filled with what you need at that moment. So there's no need to fear that process. Sometimes we don't do what's in our best interest because we're afraid of change. And the beings are asking us to recognize that there is more to be gained by allowing the letting go process to happen than to holding on to the fear or whatever is stopping us.
Okay. It's basically what I was going to say, that they're telling us.
Didn't mean to interrupt, sorry.
That's okay. Just between us girls. Leaf, you gotten anything?
Nope, I'm just trying to take notes like I said I would.
Okay.
And it pulls me back and forth, kind of back and forth between what you guys are seeing and observing, and the physical reality of writing the note.
Okay, then don't take notes. Only take coordinates.
Okay.
All right. We want you to be present in this moment, because this is important for you as well. And I'm hearing that this is the time. This is the time where it's very important for our growth and for humanity's sake to start choosing and changing and not reacting to things, but breathing first before we answer someone, listening first to what is being said. That person who's very chaotic may have nothing to do with what you did or what you're saying or you, but they're chaotic because they bring that chaos energy with them, that negative hurricane energy with them. So they are causing people to react, which adds to that energy instead of not reacting, changing your perspective, changing your way you do things, and allow things to occur around you. And you will see the difference and feel the difference, even within your own energy. Those that have been getting illness after illness after illness will find that their illnesses will start to subside, and they will also start even feeling better physically, mentally, spiritually. You will connect to that oneness a lot easier, and you will get your sense of wonder and gratefulness and wisdom the second you take the choice, make the choice to go more positive, stay in the light, and not let things drag you down. It's like going through that bath. Once you're cleansed, you don't need, once you choose to do it, you don't need to do anything but be aware and make positive choices. Positive choices for you, of course. Not for me, not for Leaf, not for Jazz, but for yourself.
One
Positive
of the
choices. Yes.
I'm sorry. One of the beautiful side effects, if you will, is that the more you're able to sustain those positive choices, you will begin to see changes in those around you. Not that you're trying to change them, I don't mean that, but they will see that things that may have triggered you in the past no longer trigger, and they'll start wondering about themselves. And you have an opportunity at that point to allow them to see that they have choices.
Exactly.
If you see that one person start to make changes and you're in a family setting, you may begin to see it filter down to everyone in the family that is in your home. Well, think of how powerful that is when you take it into the work setting and people start noticing that change in you and that good things are happening for you and they want a piece of that action. And invite them to begin their journey of choosing the positive.
Yes. Bunker. Now, Jazz, there's a being to your right-hand side. That being is trying to communicate with you. Might have a private message for you or something that you don't need to share. But I just wanted to make you aware because at one point they were jumping up and down, waving themselves, kind of get your attention.
Etsani, etsanayam, kanunu, bajina, tuyami, namino, kabajati, damanya, san yamian, Ni tunami tu benetuja. Don't ask me what it means.
So for those that heard it, and if you didn't hear it, you could always rewind later on. That is an activation to activate more positive healing within our psyche. Each one of us has gotten activated by what you just said, Jazz. I don't know about anybody else's, but all of my hairs on back of my neck stood up and in my arms. And I felt something in my heart just open up, bring a lot of more peacefulness within me. I could translate it, but it's more powerful in my language. All I can tell you is that it's basically healing. And if you accept it and you let it happen, it will bring you so much more peace than you have ever felt or you have felt in a long time. The level of peace is beyond what we can sometimes comprehend. And that is what the change is. That is what they want us to change to, more peaceful, wiser beings. So instead of reacting, we bring our inner peace out into the world to show ourselves as examples. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as you expressed what the intent was, I was then able to feel it. As I channeled it, I could only say it, but then as you talked about it, I was able to feel exactly what you described.
So they are for intents purposes lighting a fire.
I was gonna say that the room got brighter and
Yeah.
and more light is emanating from wherever it's coming from.
Yeah, it's kind of near the altar type of thing. And, you know, I could say it's a fire, but it's a fire that's floating in air. So it's a bright light. It's the best way I can describe it.
It's a bright light because one who was very dark went into the waters and has come out its true self, the bright light.
And it's very interesting because it's so bright that it looks like a fire when you light a fire outside and it just, the flames are moving up and down. So the energy is moving up and down. So good. And I am sure the energy shifted when they came out of the waters.
In my understanding, the one who went into the water was considered by many to be roughly equivalent in human terms of the goddess of death, and this entity has been reborn essentially from the waters.
Good. And it became very negative because of all the death due to war and chaos. And yet now it's reborn to start fresh, to be lighter and brighter. And I'm seeing the beings just going through that water and coming out. Of course, lighter, brighter. That's why they're floating. And that's basically what they're saying for us to do. Even if it's envisioning a shower or a lake, as you step in, set the intentions to release that negative energy and step out. Stay there. Splash a little. Let it completely take all that negative and step out. Kind of a cleansing, sort of.
Waterfall.
Waterfall. There you go. I have someone tapping me on my head. I'm sure it's to get my attention. Trying to look around the room. Okay. It'll soon be time to change environments. Let's just say that. To go someplace else. So they want us to take a last look, absorb that positive energy that's being illuminated. And time now to give the other coordinates.
2, 4, 9, 5, 6. 2, 4, 9, 5, 6.
So what I'm feeling is it's in the same environment, same everything, but it's like on the other side. So 180 degrees to the other side of the planet, if it's a planet. Because we really didn't investigate where we were.
Yeah, I see it as a topside. We were in a cave atmosphere, and this is, if you will, above the cave,
Right,
the earth area around it, or wherever we are.
right. I know we have limited way of explaining this, but we're trying.
For most people, Earth is their only reference, and the cave is a familiar understanding, and land is a familiar understanding. But you're right, it's a 180. But it's kind of like the flip side. It's almost as if the cave is the inner work and the 180 is the outer work.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I'm still seeing the stars, the sky, as I did through that cave entrance. But it now looks much brighter. Not as dark.
Similar to a sunrise beginning.
The destruction that was is beginning to be cleared away, and the resources that were once spent on destruction are now being spent on repair, and returning things as best that can be to what they were originally meant to be.
Rebuilding. I just heard rebuilding, but stronger. Rebuilding, but better.
Yeah. Rebuilding's important for that security. But there's also new dynamics that are being unfolded that are important to be incorporated because it will sustain the life there in a more powerful fashion.
Mhm. Correct. You should see a lot of movement and things just a lot of movement and things just being built and restructured and and it's like moving fast, not slow or anything. They know what they got to do. They just do it.
The materials they're using to build are different.
Mhm. They're different because they're different beings within themselves, is what I just heard. These other beings that have done their inner work and now are doing the outside work, creating an environment where they're going to feel safe, feel comfortable, and be able to be within their own wisdom and their own ability to continue to grow, their opportunities to continue to grow and heal. It's kind of like when you do inner work and then you look around your house and you're like, I need to clear out this house. I need to make space for the new me, for the new wisdom, for the new energy that's here right now. And that is one of the things that they're doing.
And the technology that originally may have come from mm, military purposes originally, the material, a lot of the materials that were new in discovery and reverse engineered are now being applied to building and rebuilding structures in very different ways than previously existed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the structure of the buildings that are there is a innate repository of wisdom.
Yes. Yes. And what I'm getting right now is that they can go into that repository and say, okay, I know that I took wrong steps in this situation. And they will be enlightened and given the tools in there to give them the opportunity to change it if it happens again, to change how they handle the situation, which will then give them more wisdom. And they take that wisdom with them further and then, of course, shine brighter.
To access it, all you need to do is to touch a wall.
Which, maybe me, I did go and I touched the wall. Oof, that rush of energy that just came through me. Um, in a safe manner, kind of like sticking your finger in a
they'd suck it.
Yeah. But in a
Not
safe
as
manner,
painful.
not as painful. But yes, that's a good comparison. It's just not as painful or as dangerous.
If you touch the roof, well. All kidding aside, we've been talking about the physical buildings per se,
Mhm.
but even the plants and the animals are revitalized, and they're different than they were before. They too are brighter. They too are relieved that the tension is gone.
Mhm.
And they're trying to do their part in the rebirthing process.
It's like wherever that is, that planet, let's just say the planet, so we could understand it. You see new growth everywhere, rebuilding completely. Like you said, the animals, the plants, the true foreign test purposes, trees, even water or liquid places. I see a waterfall, but that it's not water. It's like a liquid that it just shines very bright, illuminating.
Like silver water,
Yes,
liquid silver water.
liquid silver.
like mercury.
Okay.
Less dense.
But
Well, mercury is a silvery water-like substance.
okay.
But
Yeah,
even
there's that.
beyond that, there's oddly, how, I don't know how, but there is rebuilding of mountains and elevations and
Mhm.
valleys
Mhm.
and crevices. It's just amazing to watch and be able to participate in a small way.
Mhm. And that rebuilding reminds us that although this is a very old planet and it's gone through a lot, it doesn't mean that that's it. It you can rebuild, you can change, you could do things that are more positive, and you can then build on that. So all the new growth will be helpful for your future, not just the very present. It's the foundation of everything.
It's also, if you work with clay at all, or you have seen clay molded and sculpted, it's sort of like that process, where you kind of take a substance of clay-like matter, and you're starting to form it in new and beautiful ways.
Mhm. And this all comes about because you chose to change from being negative to being more positive, and allowing more of that positive wisdom to resonate with you and to come into you and be part of that inner peace. That's all it needs is your actual decision, taking that step and allowing the chaos to stop. Once you have inner peace, Doesn't matter what's happening around you. You will be able to get past that.
Got that this is actually how structures like the pyramids and the various beautiful stone structures that are massive, this is how they were built, with this energy that is vibrating amongst all over, around us, around us, in us, under us, above us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think one of the foundational values of this environment is respect, gratitude, peace, and joy.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm seeing a flag go up. It's kind of like their signal that they're towards the end of the rebuild, where they started the last steps towards it. But I'm also hearing that even though you rebuild and you change, that doesn't mean that you stop. Continue making those choices with the right intention, with the wisdom that is given to you, and with that inner peace. That is not a one and done deal. And
There's also the rebuilding what was is different from building beyond that. Okay, like we rebuild what was to help create a stable environment. And then from there, what are we going to create with that beyond what uh, we currently have?
Exactly. Concur. And with that statement, I am getting that we need to leave now. Because now it's up to us to take it from this point on. They're already basically giving us the how to. Now it's a choice, conscious choice within us.
Yes.
All right, so feel free to take one last look. Absorb all that energy. And then slowly start stepping down into your zero, slowly, very slowly, taking deep breaths, allowing yourself to come back down And again, just set the intention if you don't know how to do that. Take a nice, slow, deep breath to release all that energy. I want to thank everyone that was here today and anyone that sees this or listens to this later on. I want to thank our members that were here today. And of course, all the beings, all the light beings that are always here to help us and to help us channel these messages and take us on these beautiful trips with so much wisdom behind them and so much knowledge behind them. And with that, we say thank you. Have a blessed week. And we love you all. Namaste. Namaste, Leaf. Namaste, Jazz.
Namaste.
Namaste.